Hi there, folks, and welcome to another. Hi there, folks, and welcome to another episode of Michael in the Backyard. We're going to be in the shop today. I know you're going to be very disappointed. This doesn't have anything to do with bicycles. I'm so sorry to disappoint you. Some of you are going, thank goodness, he's doing something different. Ain't working on his stupid bikes. Well, so what I'm going to do, let me get a little drawing up here for you. I got it right over here, a little sketchy sketch. Right here. See that? It's a box. It's got a hook coming down. It's got a hook coming up and over and stuff like that. We're going to build. I've got a job to do that's at my job. And it's pallet racking that has fencing in between it. And when it doesn't, the pallet racking's all been fully assembled, has absolutely no fencing in between to protect things from getting pushed from one side to the other. But I'm not putting, this video isn't about putting the fencing in. This video is about creating a thing that I can hang in the purlins up in the rafters, 32 feet off the floor. We have 32-foot ceilings in this building. And lower it down. So here's some of the stuff I've got. I bought this Badlands winch. And there again, this is very economical. It's got a wired remote, but even better yet, it's got a wireless remote. And it's built in that way already. You can put the wired remote, plug it into here, or this box just receives the wireless signal and tells the Badlands winch what to do. This is a 2,500 pound winch. The particular fencing that we're putting up is only like 8 foot by, 8 foot by 30 inches, I think. But we got to pick it all the way from the floor all the way up and suspend it and hold it while we bolt it in place between racking that already has been established and assembled, both sides together. This is going in the middle. So we're trying to come up with brainstorm a way to pick things up, not strain ourselves trying to manhandle. We've done some manhandling of some of this fencing in other areas. It's no fun. So this was a way to be able to possibly feed it up between there with a hoist and just hang it. Suspend it, hold it in place while we put bracketry in place. So that's the game plan. So what we're going to build today is the apparatus to do that. Something I kind of brainstormed up. I also did some checking on some tensile strengths. I've got a piece of, there's a piece of 1.5 inch square tubing that this is going to hang on. So we can suspend it on the rafters. It's going to stay flat because it is rectangle tubing, not round tubing. But the piece that's going to go over, it's also going to be rectangular and be able to slide wherever we need it along that, 2.5 inch material and be supported at like 6.5 foot span. And did some calculations. So the bending, this thing should be able to easily handle like 700-800 pounds of lifting at the distance that we're spreading it apart or, supporting it with pulling in the middle. So picking up these panels that probably weigh, call them 50, 60 pounds tops, is going to be a piece of cake for it. So without further ado, I've got material over here already sheared up from my local material supplier. I got different plate stock here, different sizes, different thicknesses to make this box out of, and we're going to get busy doing that. So I'm going to get you on let's get the stand extended. Hey, I like this new tripod. This thing's actually pretty cool, pretty lightweight. And no, I'm not in my normal Hawaiian shirt, but I do have my canvas welding shoes on and my cotton shirt on so I can weld and without burning holes in my nice Hawaiian shirts. So we'll set this other stuff aside and we'll start building the box. Now I'm gonna see if I can transfer punch or mark. Maybe I can't even do that. Might have to just be measurements only. And then we got get back in the camera shot, Michael, before you start talking. We got the fair lead piece here we'll bolt. So we'll have to cut a rectangular hole in it. So I'll have a place to mount this and let the cable from this come through and not do any damage. So should be a pretty interesting little apparatus when I'm done. And then also I'll be using one of my particular batteries to power this is a 12-volt system. I'm going to use a one of my LifePo batteries that only weigh like 22 pounds to power this. It's like 100 amp hour, 22-pound battery. We'll be able to run this thing up and down for days with it. And there again, 100% portable, 100%, let's call it off-grid-ish. We don't have to try to run a drop cord or power or anything to this. We'll have portable power with the 12-volt battery, which is, there again, a part of the grand plan. Let's get some of this stuff set aside so I don't mess it up before I actually get to use it. And there again, it's some of these little side jobs that keep me alive. Keep some of the, let's call it the rest of my hobby stuff that you guys see going on, you know, keep it going. See if I got everything kind of lined up here. So basically I have 4 plates that are all the same thickness. And I got a thicker plate here. But all the same thickness ones and same size. It's going to create a box. Or be welded into a box. This thicker one I've got to go on top and weld to the edge of the box. And then I've got these other pieces sheared and cut to make my, well, this one's the one I sheared to a specific size here, so it'll fit over the tubing. And then I got this little down piece here to create the, you know, trappages, as you can see. So can you see that? You guys are sharp. You're picking up what I'm putting down. All right. Now, I'm going to get my little fancy tool, a fancy tool. Now this, I currently have 4 of these right now. These are handy little brushes. You're going to see these coming up in my videos, working on my front bumper on the Jeep. I've got one. Why do I have 4? Well, I hate changing things out when I go from one tool to another tool to another tool. So I can have a sanding pad on one, maybe 2 sanding pads. I can have my wire wheel on another one, maybe a cup style wire wheel and then a different style wire wheel. So I can just do all this dressing up and stuff and not have to change all the different things. And this is a little 12-volt from Hercules. And these things are pretty cool because you got this light on the back. Super fast. Ridiculous fast. Manageable speed for stuff like this. So I'm going to use this to deburr all these. Now, I can use my little 4-inch angle grinder to do this, but this is lighter, not quite so aggressive as the 4.5-inch angle would be. And it does the same job. So it's kind of a right tool. Back to the philosophy, right tool for the right job situation. And I wouldn't call it a funny story. My local Harbor Freight, they know me. They're getting to know me too well, I think. And I went in today, believe it or not, I had 3 of these. And I haven't put them on much videos or talked about them because I told them, I said, I'm not doing anything. They don't sponsor me at all. They should. But not to mention these 12-volt batteries are fairly inexpensive. And they work. You can charge them in the 20-volt chargers. I think the 4-amp-hour battery is like $34. But anyway, I picked up my 4th one today, and I've been waiting for him to come back into the stores for months. The guy at the store would not sell me his last one. There again, I was trying to get my 4 because I had my purpose I wanted 4 for. And that's just how I am. And I said, why don't you sell me that one? He goes, well, I got to keep this one to put on the shelf. I said, but if you don't have any more to sell, what's the use of putting it on the shelf? And he goes, I can't argue with your logic, but I got to hang on to this one and put it on the shelf. I watched this one that I could have got sitting on the shelf, not this one, but one like it, sitting on the shelf for 6 months, at least 6 months, before they finally got some in. And he goes, I looked at the shelf. That guy happened to be stocking some stuff today, and he's one of the store managers, and he happened to be stocking the store today. And I said, after work, and I said, I looked there and I looked up at him. He just happened to see me coming down the aisle. Yeah, he goes, and he walked by me. He goes, I got 5 of them. I'm like, what? I said, I have 3. I want 4. You know that. And I said, I mean, you have some in stock? He goes, yep. And he says, he had 2. I'm sorry, he had 2 of them. He says, I've already had 5 guys today ask me about them. And he told me, I wasn't going to go dig through the truck to get them. I said, timing's everything, I guess, because these are right here. He just opened up the box. 2 boxes are there. And he handed me one. I said, he goes, I should save these for somebody else that doesn't have one yet. I said, I can't disagree with you. But I said, I've also been a very loyal Harbor Freight customer and spent a lot of money here, so let's do the right thing. And I'd say the right thing by me. A little bit of my selfishness, but here again, I've got a platform here where I can actually, tell people about them and watch for them. These are like $59. And these are nice little 90-degree grinders with different speeds. And you can run an air compressor. Buy a tool like this for an air compressor, but I'm really getting attached to the battery stuff because air compressors, I don't use the air compressor now. I used to use air compressor for air tools, impacts, and stuff like that, but with the onslaught of all the battery stuff over the years and the stuff I've been collecting up battery-wise, I can almost tolerate a smaller compressor, not necessarily a 60-gallon. Now, when you come to spray and paint, that's where this tank will shine. But for all the other air tools, blowing stuff off, I could actually have a much smaller air compressor. Because I got a buddy of mine that's like, he goes, I need to get a compressor. What do you recommend I get? I said, what do you plan on doing with it? And he goes, well, airing up tires, running a couple of air tools. I said, air tools or battery operated tools? Which one are you leaning toward? And he goes, I see your point. He has not pulled the trigger yet. Getting ahead of myself with the magnets. So I want this to be like this. And it's going to hang sideways. But I also want to have my electrical connections inside the box so they don't get bumped by accident. I can have this piece here where you release it, if you need to release it, easily outside the box, I think. I think this is the way I'm leaning. Yes. Now, question is, this is going to come out this way. Things I got to think about. This is going to be here. Where's my fair lead going to be? I'm picking up what I'm putting down. So it's almost like this needs to be a little further in, so I have room to mount. Let me get that. We just had a sketch. We're just, so that if this was down here like this, I could have room to mount this. Even if it was up here, though, I could still mount it. That would still come through the middle okay. Yeah, we're going square box still. Didn't change my mind. I can always make another one if I have to, but, I want to do it right because I hate rework. Hate it. With a passion. Little Sharpie mark. Now, one of my previous videos, I can't remember which one it was. I think it was a bike assembly video out of a box situation. We got long bolts and we got short bolts. I think I can tolerate the long bolts. I don't know how I want to do this. I actually want short bolts for everything. I can cut these off. I'm going to use the hardware provided with it. That's the plan. What diameter drill do I need? Let's see if this drill bit will drill a hole. I'm really digging on this little tripod. Some of you might be asking, Michael, how's come you have 2 drill presses? Well, I thought my one drill press died. And turns out it was just something that came loose, and I was able to fix it. All right, so this is going to hang like this. So that's going to be like that. Those holes all line up. Now I got to get a little something here. And I want this to be, this will be right down the ground. Right down there, about the middle of everything. So we'll just make this, yeah, we'll just do it like that. A couple more holes, and then I'm gonna draw a rectangle. Because what I'll have to do is I'll have to mill that out, or cut that out, to be able to put the lead through the slot, and it's gonna bolt on here so the lead will just roll on the rollers and not rub up against any of this other metal. This job, I'm gonna try to put my tools away as I go, so I don't have to a whole bunch of cleanup afterwards. So that'll be like that. So we can maintain that relationship. This thing doesn't have to be perfectly square. I think that'll, that's the thick one. The thin one. Another one here. I want to thank again K6 Outdoors art captain. This welding helmet, he had a drawing. All you had to do is be subscribed and leave a comment. He entered into a drawing, and you could win. He was giving away a helmet and a pair of gloves to somebody else. I think he was giving away 2 helmets because they were having some kind of, they sponsored him on a video with a welder and whatnot, and I was one of the lucky ones to get one of these helmets. And these helmets are magnificent. They fit your head really, really crazy good. Very secure, and then I can see through this with ease. Sorry, it's getting a little echoey, but I can see it's got a huge. This is all visible. You can see everything. What do I got this set on? Okay. Whoops. Let's just tackety tack here. I got this plate sitting down inside, so when I tack the inside, it doesn't try to collapse it. Right now I'm just trying to get a box. Get a box, get a box. And the magnets should be holding it square, not just square, but square enough. There. Those are held together. I can pull this magnet out, this magnet out. It's pretty square looking. This helmet is awesome. The field of view is just magnificent. So if you're looking to get a new welding helmet, I'd recommend this one. And I probably said it in another video that I haven't released yet, but this thing came with 2 extra batteries. I think it was 2 extra batteries, another 2 extra cover shields and 1 inner shield. I mean, it came with a lot of extra replaceable consumables already, which was just brilliant. Love that. A company that cares wants you to have your best experience as possible. Those of you that's been following me for a little bit, I've got, that is an Arc Captain, ain't it? Yeah. I've got an Arc Captain TIG welder I bought for doing aluminum and steel, and I did my fenders on my big trailer. I TIG welded this seams like this together with it. Made a real nice piece out of it. All right, we got look, the magic trick. There's nothing in here. Eventually there will be. All right. Well, I'm gonna get some tacks in the middle here, just so things don't warp around too much on me. Alrighty. Now it shouldn't go anywhere. To make life a little easier for me, I got some V-blocks here that I can just set this thing in. Allow me to put a nice, perfect little fillet in there. That's the plan. I'm gonna put you guys back here a little ways. My goal is not to get weld splatter on my Hero 13 lens. That would make me not happy. That's leaving a good weld, but I want it hotter. Must be hotter. This cane cannot break. Here again, this isn't that situation where, you know, grinder and paint, I'll make you the welder you ain't. This is just softening, so when I'm handling this 30 feet off the floor, that I'm not going to cut myself and then drop it all the way to the ground because I reacted. We'll be back after I get that slot cut in, and we can weld some more onto it, and once we get it all welded up, I can actually mount the motor, the winch motor in it. I've got a housing I need that I can mount on the other side that houses some of the wiring and the remote part of it. And then I can put, I think that'll be everything. Then I'll have the leads coming off that go directly to the battery. And I might actually put something on here as something to hold those wires to act as a strain relief, just in case they get pulled on a little more than I care for it to. But that should be pretty sturdy. That's a pretty sturdy box right there. Magically delicious. All right, I'm happy with that. So there again, that's my hour a day today, roughly. I don't know if this has been even going an hour. It's exactly 1 hour. Who would have thought? Alrighty folks, we're back in the shop after doing the mill work. We got the winch mounted in there with the 2 bolts that were provided. I cut them off and blended them off so they're shorter. I've got the fair lead opening here that we milled in. That bolted in place. Keep in mind, this is going to sit in this position. Normally your winch is pulling straight out like off a bumper or something. We're going to use this for lifting, so it's going to be, you know, subject to the same types of pressures, but just in a vertical fashion. So what I need to do now is to create the rest of it. I've got this other plates here that I haven't deburred yet. Let's go ahead and do that. Trying to remember why I bought this piece. I was thinking it was going to be for the end of the square tubing as little stops, and it still might be for that. It's just, I mean, it's 1/8 inch. It's not very thick. This here, the plan is to do like this, because I want to have the support like directly above the fair lead opening here, or where the opening is going to be. So I think that's going to put this right here, because the tubing then would sit right here. It'd be just about perfect. I think I'm going to set it on to the inside just a little bit. Where's my magnets? I thought I stuck them to the side of this. Or maybe I put them away. No, I didn't put them away. Where'd they go? Could this be a new side of me that I put stuff away? Doubtful. So I kind of want to have something about like yay. Because I want to get that. Well, the tubing's 1.5 inches, I do believe. If I did that right, yeah, there's 1.5 inches. And the opening down here, the center of these bolts are 1.5 inches in. So that's 1.5 inches in. I always carry a Sharpie on me anymore. It's crazy. Always have a Sharpie, a tape measure, folding utility blade, fingernail clippers. You know, it's just Part of who I am. So then what that would mean is that's 1.5 inches. And if this was 1.5 inches, if I mark it, you need to be 3/4 inch back from that mark. To put that dead center. About like yay. So that's 5/8 to roughly a welded edge. I wanted to sit kind of square, you know what I'm saying? We're about 9/16. That's 1/2 inch. Something about like that, I think. That's gonna work out pretty good. Kind of want to. I'm gonna tack it on the end here. That way I won't try to pull this way or that way too much right out of the gate. I'm gonna put my gloves on. Ooh, that's hot. Okay. Now we got something about like that. So the other piece I'm gonna have is like here and then here, which should allow for 1.5 inches in here. Is the plan. Is the plan. Tell you what, this new welding helmet is fantastic. I love this thing. It's so easy to see out of. And I can't thank K6 Outdoors enough for having a drawing and letting me enter and actually being one of the lucky winners. That's just awesome. All right, now this one's gonna have to go in here like this. Woo, woo, hot spot. This one's gonna go in here something like this. I kind of want to have it inside and outside a little bit, so this thing will kind of rest. There'll be plenty of room between the weld. Now this one doesn't have to have as much strength, so I'm just going to put a weld on the outside. This is just going to keep it from coming off this way. Well, this one I want to weld inside and outside because it's going to have to keep this piece from bending open. So I think I got plenty of really nice weld in there. That's going nowhere. That'll be just perfect. So I think this one will get in here. We'll flip this somehow here. That'll hold it parallel. I'm going to get it spaced up a little bit. Yeah, just that 1/4 inch is perfect. I can set it on that 1/4 inch. It's not going to hit that weld. I can leave this on top. Put that about right there. That'll give me a 1/4 inch worth of play. Perfect. That way it won't be too wackadoodle-doo. All right, let's ground this and throw down some weld on it. Hold that right there. A little tackaroo there. Woo, that piece is preheated. I'll put about 1 inch on the inside that I can reach comfortably. This bead on here now. Sometimes I prefer to weld left-handed, right-handed. It just depends on what angle I'm at. Now right here, I can rest this on. Oh, that box is warm. Picking up some temperatures. So the plan will be something like this. I'll be hanging between purlins. And we'll be able to take this guy here and just do just like that. That's hanging perfect. Got a little bit of wiggle room. But when this comes out between the rollers here, it'll be straight up and down. Pulling directly down this. So as soon as you put tension on, this thing's gonna just lock in with tension that way. Plus we spread the load out over a foot here. When I did the calculations for the deflection on this, supported between, I did it between 9 feet originally, or yeah, 9 or 8 feet, but now we're gonna be actually only 6 feet apart. And that was with one central pushing spot. And what it would take, how it would support before permanent deformation was created, which means that, you know, this stuff has some bounce back to it, some elasticity. On this type of tubing, it'll go and it'll come back type thing. So the plan was that we could actually put this on there, or that I could have some deformation. Won't happen until about 280 pounds. And that's with a 2.5 times safety factor. I think it was 280. No, yeah, 280 or some. It was some really high number. When we're only going to be lifting, it's going to support this, which weighs 30 pounds maybe total, and the weight of what we're picking up, which is only about 80 pounds total lifting. And that was in 1 point. We've actually spread that out now that I have 1 foot of support, which puts the deflection even into a shorter area. When it deflects, it's actually going to be, the weight of it would be in 2 spots away from one another, which is better than one single spot putting pressure on it. So picture this curvature of this thing is flexing and it's curving, and this is straight, it's going to only hit on 2 points then. But the nice thing is we'll be able to take this thing and do just like that, slide it anywhere up and down. It's secure, it's not going to bounce off of there too easily. But when we want to pick it up there, pick it up off of here, we can just pick it up, put it on our hoist or scissor lift or whatnot, slide this down to the next set of purlins, just roll it over where these feet are going to be hanging off, slide it down and roll it back into place. Move our scissor lift down, rehang this. I'm also going to hang a battery off of it, and it's going to be a lithium battery, LifePo battery, which only weighs about 22 pounds. And that's going to hang on here with the cabling that plugs this all together. All right, enough talking. We got to get the other pieces cut. And I've got it marked here where I'm going to weld a piece here and here, and one down there and down there. And that's the only thing these are going to do is keep it from accidentally sliding off of a purlin. It's just a trap. It's a trap. All right, Blake. Been needing some attention, are you, buddy? You been needing some attention? How you doing? How you doing, buddy? Oh, look at there. He just love and love. He just love, don't you? He's a sweetheart, but he comes up to you and rubs his teeth on you. And that's an eerie feeling. Actually, I just had to give him a little slide across the floor when he did it. Train him not to do that, okay? All right. Come on, let go. A lot of people like when they take cats and pull them off them, they pull them down and away where their claws are dug in. So if you pull up, it's like a barb. They can't hold on when you're going with their claws. I'm going to set him down over here on his bed. All right, once I get that done, I think I'm going to jump to, before I weld this up, take a break from welding and let the air clear just a bit. Not that it's bad yet. I'm going to get this stuff cleared off of here, wipe my table off, and play around with the wiring portion of the program. Because here again, this is going to take another 15 minutes, 20 minutes or so to cut and weld those pieces on. And then that piece is completely done. And let's just set this stuff down off to the side for a moment. A feller could use a bigger weld bench, but then a feller wouldn't have all the extra space for it. When overall welding of my projects is only a small percentage of what I do in the shop. Well, where are you out, Blake? Trying to chase me around here while I'm walking around. I like how this is turning out so far. I'm going to stick the magnets on here this time because I'm going to need them here in a minute. Tape measure put away. Don't need this clamp any longer. Alrighty. Got a couple of washers here. Now I'll show you what those are for here in a bit. If I'm going to even use this stuff, we'll see. Right now I got grinding dust and some weld splatter all over this I want to clean up. Feels good closing in on the end of a project. Not that this was a complicated project. It's just, you know, sometimes it's just the getting started on it. And then just the mid part of it. And then there's the finishing. All that can be problematic, but not really. This is one of those paying jobs, you know, that I can invoice versus stuff I spend money on to generate YouTube revenue. Don't get me wrong, I'm very appreciative of work like this. But sometimes working on a bicycle and making modifications or repairing a car so you can get more drivability out of it can just be more fun. Now we got our work surface cleaned up. Let's bring some other stuff back into play here, which is our controller. Now that we got this assembled, we can't really, I should say, we try not to forget its orientation, how it hangs. That's what we got to keep in mind at all times. Now, another major component here is the control box. We got a positive and a negative wire that's going to hook onto that. I think I'll run the wires, you know, bring them around the corner here and just tuck them in so they're just out of the way. I don't know which is positive and negative here. I guess the one with the red is positive, but that'll be crisscross applesauce. We'll see. But then this hooks to the battery. So all that means is I've just got to drill a couple holes in here and mount this box to where it needs to go. And then this will go over to the battery. And this makes it a full remote because you can plug in right here. Can you see from way over there? Probably not. Let's get you a little closer here to the action. So right here is the plug-in for the wired remote. So this has got a pretty long wired remote. Rocker switch up and down. But the key fob remote's going to be handy because we're going to be working at levels all the way to 4 feet off the floor up to 30 feet in the air. In the wireless remote, we don't have to worry about this dangling down through things and trying to keep access to it when the wireless remote can just bring it up and down for us. This could be a good backup though. We do have a nice protective lead cover for the positive terminal, so we don't actually, you know, ground out and create a dead short, because that'll be able to go in there. The ground doesn't need anything but a ground. It can touch anything. Yeah, so now I think what I want to do is mount this with a couple of self-tappers. There should be plenty of room to go through the box. See if my sharper point Sharpie will help. Well, I almost want to do this way, because then my wires will hang down on the dangly down parts, and then the negative and positive will be where it, yeah, let's do that. I think there's enough cord here to do that. I try to have a reason why I do the things that I do. There, that left a mark. I got a sharper Sharpie here. It actually reaches through. Whoa, don't drill through the winch. Hot solid. Looking to see if there's any markings. Oh, there it is on the very end. I was going by the red here, but there's actually a positive and negative, so I'm on the right track. Now this shouldn't be rubbing and cutting in this unless you bump it or something. It could happen, but we're just gonna ride with it like this for now. This is gonna hang down, come down and around and hook up to a battery, so that's easy peasy. I know most of my shop might look a little bit unorganized, but I do have pockets of organization. These have positive and negative on them. When you put them together, they'll click on place and it'll be just like that. Which is really cool. So believe it or not, I'm gonna go ahead and cut these wires. Okay, got that wired up. All right, I didn't bore you guys with the soldering stuff, but here's kind of what we got for a setup so far. I got my LiPo battery here. I put my quick connect on here so I can disconnect at any time. I'm going to neaten up those wirings with some more zip tie just to kind of get it, a little more like this. Here it is hanging in place, wired up. And we'll just do a quick demonstration right here. We've got the key fob. And push and hold to turn it on. And then retract. Extend. Retract. There you go. So you can make some nice small adjustment, it looks like, with this, which is awesome. It says to enable, press the on-off button for 3 seconds until LED lights up. To disable, press the on-off button 3 times for 3 seconds. Turns it off. The remote will power off automatically after 2 minutes of inactivity. To prevent serious injury, operate winch only with winch line and load in view. Keep bystanders away. We'll leave that on there. So there we go, folks. That's the... It looks like you can take the screws out the back, replace the battery if you need be. We'll see how long this all lasts. I'm going to finish up the wiring here, just tidying this up with some more zip ties just to make it neat and clean. And there I got my strain relief on here. I actually put, I didn't show you this yet. So I did put like a little cable clamp here, and I put a zip tie on the other side of the cables to keep it from, if this gets pulled on, it isn't going to put any stress on this box. This here, I've got a rubber piece here, an edge protector on here to keep these wires from ever, if they get hit here, at least they'll have a soft cushion on this side, less chance of cutting it. But yeah, this is how this thing will work. It'll slide over wherever we need it, and it'll be able to center it up where we need it. And then we can lift up this fencing that we're going to put up in the pallet racking. Right up between the pallet racks is the goal, to lift it right up in there, bolt it in place, and we'll work from top down or bottom up. I don't know. It's probably going to be top down. But yeah, this way here, no matter what level we're working on, we can just winch it up and down remotely. So yeah, that's the long and the short of it. I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. Fun little project. All I got left to do is weld the little tabbies on here where I've got it marked. That'll come up about 2 inches each. And there again, those are just to keep it from, if it's on the purlin hanging, and if we shift something, like if we want to slide this, that this doesn't slide off the purlin, it'll be, sorry about that, I said the STOP word and the GoPro heard me. I've got voice activation on. Anyway, that's the long and short of it. It looks like it's going to work really well. It's going to do everything I had in my brain, what I had on the paper sketch, to do what it needs to do. I'm excited about it. It's going to be pretty darn cool, I think. I think it's going to work, and it's going to save a lot of back breaking, lifting. There you go, working smarter, not harder situation here. It's still going to be a lot of work to climb up and down and get in and out of the basket. We're going to have safety harnesses on and all that fun stuff. Maybe in a later video, probably not this video, because it's going to be, this will be out 3 to 4 weeks ahead of when the materials are supposed to arrive for the job to do it. We're going to I'll see if I can get some videos of this in action, but I'll just put it as a little side note in an upcoming video type of situation. But yeah, this fabrication job, once I get the zip ties and these on, is complete. Create the invoice, bill it, and ship it. All right, pretty cool, pretty cool. I'm excited to wrap this one up because next in the shop is the 2011 Impala. I got to do brakes on all 4 corners, and I'll explain why in that video. So keep out and watch for that. That's going to be a full brake rotor and pad replacement on all 4 corners of the car. All right, folks. Remember, if it ain't broke, fix it till it is, and we'll see you on the next video if I'm lucky. Be good to one another out there. You know, share a smile. Give somebody some positive feedback. You know, one of the things I learned years and years ago in the workforce, and it works everywhere, and take this little tidbit of wisdom with you. I think his name was Brian Stone. He was the instructor at the time. And he says, catch somebody doing something right. Catch somebody doing something right and tell them about it. You know, hey, I'm so happy you picked that up. Other people have walked over it. You did the right thing and picked it up and threw it away. You prevented a trip hazard or danger for somebody else. You know, that's all you got to do. And you'd be surprised how many miles that goes in positive reinforcement. You know, everything's so negative. Look at the news, it's negative. Very little positive stuff in the news. They always want to report the negative. Throw something positive out there, it comes back on you tenfold. You know, you give somebody those words of encouragement, and all of a sudden you're seeing them doing it. You know, it's basically, you'll see, they'll start doing things without people even being around just because it's the right thing to do. Anyway, we'll catch you on the next video. I'm out. Be kind. Rewind. Watch this video again and again and again. Thumbs up. Subscribe. I'm out.